I wake up. Behind me, steady breathing brushes my ear. The instant my eyes open, 3 awful facts hit me. First, this isn't my room. Second, I'm curled up in Chase's arms. Third, my body feels wrong. Morning light slips through the gap in the curtains and slides across the bedsheet. I look down. My formerly loose pajamas now strain across my chest. 2 buttons have popped open, revealing a vast stretch of snow-white skin. My waist is impossibly slender. A light pinch of my fingers could probably circle it. Most terrifying of all is my skin. So luminous it looks airbrushed, even my veins tinged a faint pink. Awake! Chase's husky voice comes from behind, and I freeze. His arm is still looped around my waist, the heat of his palm sending tingles up my spine. How did I end up in your bed? I stammer, afraid to turn. You got drunk last night, he says, voice low with early morning gravel. Kept insisting there was a ghost in your room and refused to leave mine. Memory fragments knit together. My birthday party, friends cheering me on, half a cocktail, my first taste of alcohol. Then nothing. Chase lets go and sits up, the black tank top hanging loosely on him, exposing his collarbones and a slice of chest. My gaze snags on the jut of his Adam's apple. A strange craving coils inside me. I want to bite it. You're flushed. He presses a palm to my forehead. Running a fever? The instant his skin touches mine, warmth floods in. I can't hold back a soft whimper. My body unfurls like a parched plant meeting rain. Chase jerks his hand away, eyes clouding. I'll make breakfast. He slides off the bed, movement stiff. You fix your clothes. Once the door closes, I scramble to the mirror, barely recognizing the girl reflected. Eyes faintly up-tilted, lips plump and red, an unnatural seductive aura clinging to every pore. This isn't the pure college girl Jenna. This is my phone vibrates on the nightstand. The lock screen is gone, replaced by a pop-up from a pink app. Succubus Guide Initial Energy Exchange Detected Energy Reserve. 7%, critically low. Immediate intake of premium emotional energy advised nearest energy source. 0.5 m, male, purity rating S+. My hands shake. Succubus? One of those legendary creatures that feed on human life force? I tap the energy supplement tutorial. A 3D animation starts at once. A succubus can acquire emotional energy through intimate contact. Methods include, but are not limited to hugging, kissing, more intimate. Breakfast's ready. Chase's voice from outside makes me almost drop the phone. At the table, the fried eggs he plated are golden and perfect, yet I have zero appetite. The weird hunger targets only the person across from me, his Adam's apple when he sips coffee, the long fingers gripping his fork, the collarbone peeking from his unbuttoned shirt. Not hungry. He glances at the plate I pushed away. No, I rush to deny. I just crave something else. Under the table, my foot slides forward and brushes his calf. Chase freezes, coffee cup suspended midair. Jenna, I'll leg cramp. I fabricate, face burning, yet I don't pull my foot back. Even through his lounge pants I can feel firm muscle. My energy reserve jumps to 11%. He studies me for a long second, then sets the cup down. I'm working from home today. The next few hours are torture. I curl on the sofa corner pretending to read, eyes actually glued to Chase working at the coffee table. The slight furrow when he concentrates, the knuckles that protrude as he types, the tip of his tongue moistening his lips. Every detail sharpens my craving. Chase! I decide to strike. Could you grab the photo album on the top shelf? When he stands on the stool and stretches, I accidentally bump the leg. He wobbles. I lunge to steady him, pressing flush to his back. In that instant my reserve rockets to 25%, pleasure zipping through me like electricity. Sorry. I stumble back, but he turns and catches my wrist. Since this morning, he says, voice dangerously low, you've been touching me. His thumb grazes the bone. Why? My mouth opens, shame drowning me. How to explain? That I want to sip his emotional energy? That I've turned into a creature that survives on physical intimacy. Tears well up. I don't know. Chase exhales, releases my wrist, ruffles my hair. Forget it. I'll brew tea. Watching him head to the kitchen, I bite my lip and open the app's quick guide. Young succubi often suppress instinct out of shame, causing energy deficit. Suggestion: build contact gradually. Start with handshakes, hugs. The kettle whistles. I screw up my courage and walk in. Chase stands with his back to me, shoulder blades shifting beneath his shirt. I inhale, step forward, and wrap my arms around his waist from behind. Jenna. He goes rigid. Just a hug. I press my cheek to his back, feeling energy trickle in like a stream. The app shows 35%, still far from enough. Slowly he turns, hands hovering at my waist. What exactly is wrong? Sunlight stripes his angled face through the window, eyelashes casting small shadows beneath. I've never studied him this close, the childhood friend who grew up with me. When did he become so irresistible? I turned into a succubus, I whisper. I need to draw energy from you. To my shock, he doesn't look surprised or disgusted. He watches me for several beats. So all the little moves this morning. Sorry. I drop my gaze mortified. I can't control it. What do you need? He asks suddenly. Maybe I can help within reason. I jerk my head up, meeting his serious eyes. The app number flicks to 40%, just because he's willing. Just physical contact. I mumble, ears burning. Hugs, holding hands. He nods, then pulls me straight into his arms. My face rests against his chest. I can hear his heart. The reserve climbs, 50%, 60%, 65%. He feels so good I can't help rubbing my cheek there. Is this enough? He asks overhead, voice carrying a husk I've never heard. I shake my head, rise on tiptoe. Maybe something closer. Our lips are almost touching when his phone rings. As the saying goes, cell phones ruin human. Action. He steps back to answer. I sag against the counter, reserve stalled at 75%. Work emergency, he says after hanging up, brows knit. I have to go. How long? I clutch his sleeve like a kid begging candy. His gaze softens. He leans in and plants a light kiss on my forehead. 2 hours. Putting cups in the fridge. If energy dips, eat those. Okay, the app mentions that. But how does he know food can tide me over? Before I can ask, he's at the door. He glances back, mouth tilting. By the way, when you were studying me, the photo album was upside down. Once the door shuts, I bury my flaming face in his pillow, then notice a new message. Establishing a stable bond with your energy source boosts conversion efficiency. Current subject compatibility. 98% optimal. I roll on the bed, hugging his pillow, struck by a terrifying realization. I don't just need his energy. I crave him, the person. More terrifying still. Chase seems not to hate this version of me. 3 hours after he leaves, I start feeling off. First just light dizziness, like mild low blood sugar. I open the fridge, wolf down 2, putting cups Chase left, and gain only brief relief. I was clutching a fistful of quarters, ready to sweep through the convenience store, but the moment I slid a single coin across the counter, the owner said, "We're closed." The money was still in my palm, and the craving was so fierce I wanted to bang my forehead against the glass shelves. The energy reserve on the app trickled from 75% down to 60, then to 50. Warning: a fledgling succubus must replenish basic energy every 12 hours or enter a weakened state. I curled up on the couch, fine beads of sweat gathering on my forehead. The air conditioning was on, yet it felt as if a fire roared inside me. The phone screen lit with Chase's message. Meeting running long, give me another hour. 1 hour. Reserve had already dropped to 40%. I tried self-soothing, hugging Chase's pillow and breathing in his scent, drinking from the cup he'd used, even burying my face in the dress shirt he'd changed out of that morning. Those tricks only slowed the descent. They couldn't actually refill the tank. Basic contact guide updated. As body stabilizes, simple contact, handshakes, hugs, weakens. Upgrade contact level. I stared at the line, my throat tightening. What did upgrade contact level even mean? The app obliged with diagrams. Fingers laced, a back hug, a lap pillow. The last few images turned my face scarlet, and I slammed the phone shut. At last the front lock clicked. I stumbled toward the entryway, but the instant I saw Chase I froze. He wasn't alone. A middle-aged man in a crisp suit stood beside him, both deep in project talk. "Jenna." Chase frowned at my bare feet on the hardwood. "You look awful." I'm fine." I forced a smile, fingers twisting the hem of my shirt. Reserve at 30%. Black dots drifted across my vision. Chase's gaze flicked between me and the visitor. Suddenly he told his colleague, "Manager Zhang, I'll email the rest of the proposal tomorrow, family emergency." Once the door shut and the deadbolt slid home, Chase covered the distance in 3 strides. "Energy running out." I nodded, too spent to speak. Without another word, he pulled me into his arms, palms sealing to the nape of my neck. The familiar warmth poured in, but this time the boost flatlined, 30 to 45 and stuck. "Not enough." I groaned against his chest, fingers knotting his dress shirt. "Need more." Chase's whole frame stiffened. "What do we do?" I was too embarrassed to say, so I shoved my phone at him. He skimmed the screen, his ears flushed crimson. He cleared his throat. Come to my room. Chase's bed was wider than the guest rooms, draped in charcoal gray bedsheets. I knelt in the center while he shrugged off his suit jacket, unfastened cufflinks, and rolled each sleeve to his elbow, exposing the sharp lines of his forearms. Let's start here. He sat on the edge and threaded our fingers together. The heightened intimacy spiked the meter to 55%, but the climb quickly leveled off. Chase seemed ready. A gentle tug sent me tumbling backward into his arms, chest to my back. Like this. His torso molded to me, chin resting on my shoulder, breath grazing my ear. Reserve surged to 65%, and I melted against him, the back of my head nestling into the hollow of his shoulder. Chase's Adam's apple bobbed. His arms tightened a fraction. The app says. My voice shook. Face-to-face works better. He hesitated, then slowly turned me around. We knelt knee to knee, my palms braced on the mattress. He cupped my face, thumbs brushing my cheekbones. Energy burst through the gate, 75% in a heartbeat. Working? He asked, voice rough. I nodded, unable to meet his eyes. His hand slid to my neck, thumb resting over my racing pulse. That near-intimate contact rocketed me past 80%. A satisfied sigh slipped out. How much more? Chase murmured. To 90. Then I'll make it till morning. His gaze dropped to my mouth, then jerked away. He exhaled hard, eased us down, and arranged me so my head lay on his thigh. My face hovered inches from his abdomen. Even through the dress shirt, I felt the firm ridges of muscle. Lap pillow, he said from above. App claims 85. It delivered. Energy crept upward, but at 85 it stalled again. I shifted restlessly and heard Chase suck in air. Don't move, he warned, fingers pressing my shoulder. How far left? 5%. I gnawed my lip. But the final methods. Chase abruptly sat up and set me aside. I'm taking a shower. You rest. The bathroom door shut, water drummed. I stared at the ceiling, hunger still prickling under my skin. On impulse, I opened the app's advanced section. Detailed instructions for higher-tier feeding scrolled past, including, the water stopped. I fumbled the phone dark and pretended sleep. Footsteps approached, paused at the bed. Damp warmth drifted over, my peach-scented shampoo. Your lashes flutter when you fake it, he teased softly. I opened my eyes and forgot how to breathe. Chase wore only a bath towel knotted at his hips. Droplets slid down his chest and vanished between the grooves of his abs. My gaze wandered lower, snagging on the unmistakable tent beneath the cotton. Sorry. He spun away, yanked pajamas from the dresser. Definitely not accidental. I know. My whisper cracked. It's a normal reaction. Back to me, he tugged on the pants but stayed standing. Realization smacked me. He was afraid to lie beside me. The thought made my heart riot. Chase! I gathered courage. 85 probably won't last till tomorrow. He faced me, eyes storm dark. What more do you want? I had no answer. I wanted his mouth on mine, wanted. The craving shamed me. Succubus instinct tangled with my feelings for him. I couldn't tell which was stronger. Just sleep together. I scooted toward the wall, the way we used to. He hesitated, then stretched out rigidly, a full body's width between us. 2 mummies under the sheet. Lights off, he said. Darkness fell, moonlight slipped through the curtain gap. I turned toward Chase and found him staring back. His eyes glittered, twin embers in the night. Chase, I whispered. Yeah. If I didn't need energy, would you still? Silence spread. Just when I thought he'd ignore me, Chase hooked an arm and dragged me to his chest. My cheek pressed to his heartbeat, fast and loud. Yes, drifted from above. I'd just take longer because I like you. I was afraid you didn't feel the same. Looks like you do. I do. Reserve rocketed to 95%, but the digits didn't matter. I finally understood every lovesick fool in history. The steady thump beneath my ear lulled me under. Sometime later I woke alone. Light leaked from the half-open bathroom. Muffled gasps and running water leaked with it. I blinked, comprehension scorching my cheeks. When morning sun roused me, Chase was dressed and perched on the mattress edge, holding a glass of honey water. Morning. He smoothed my sleep-tangled hair. Energy holding. I checked, 82%. Slower drain than expected, yet still slipping. Reading my face, he sighed and leaned down. Important meeting today. He brushed my forehead. Let me top you off. The peck bumped me to 85, but deeper hunger flared. I caught his tie, holding him. Not enough anymore. Chase's breath hitched. Then what? I tapped my own lower lip. At least. His eyes darkened. He bent slowly, pausing a breath away. You sure? This isn't just for energy. I wasn't sure at all. My succubus instinct and my feelings for Chase had fused together. I could no longer tell which was stronger. But right now, I only wanted his kiss. Certain. I closed my eyes. His lips brushed mine warm, soft. Energy spiked past 100% in an instant, then was swallowed by something fiercer. The tip of his tongue traced the seam of my mouth. I obeyed, parting my lips and letting him deepen the kiss. He slid a hand into my hair and pressed me closer. When we finally broke apart, we were both breathless. Chase's mouth glistened, his gaze so hot my knees weakened. The meeting's going to start late, he rasped, yet kept his forehead against mine. I answered softly, fingers still twisted in his dress shirt. He pecked the corner of my mouth again. To be continued tonight. After he left, I collapsed on the bed and brushed trembling fingertips over my swollen lips. The app popped a notification. Warning. Frequent switching of supplementation methods may lead to dependency escalation. Choose carefully. Too late. I'd already tasted the sweetest energy source. There was no going back. Chase's kiss was addictive. For 3 days we'd settled into a silent pact. One light kiss at dawn for basic fuel, a deeper session at night to top off my reserve. But this morning, when his lips left mine, the reading only crawled from 65% to 80%. Not enough. I fisted his tie before he could stand, urgency foreign to my own ears. More. I need more. Chase's Adam's apple rolled, his eyes darkened. Jenna, are you sure this is just about energy? I wasn't. Every kiss replenished less, while my craving doubled, then quadrupled. Worse, I caught myself in daylight randomly tasting him. Coffee bitterness still on his tongue, cedar pulse at his throat, every degree of heat we'd traded. I don't know. I let go of the tie, but my thumb kept stroking the silk. Still, 80% won't last till you're back from work. He studied me, then yanked the knot loose and tossed the tie aside, dropping one knee on the mattress. An arm braced beside my head, he tilted my chin, then charged to full. This kiss bore no resemblance to the earlier ones. His tongue drove in, almost punishing. My head sank into the pillow. Instinct lifted my hands to his shoulders. Numbers rocketed, 85%, 90%, 95%. And the instant we broke 100%, a molten current detonated under my skin, flooding every limb. His lips were slick, his chest heaved. Enough. A feast should stop at satisfied, right on the cliff. 1 more inch and craving owns you. Chase left the bedroom with clear reluctance, and I lay limp, body burning. The app froze at 103%, yet the restlessness inside me kept roaring for more. Shaking, I opened the status bar. Warning. Energy conversion efficiency abnormal current donor purity exceeds threshold recommendation. Cease contact immediately to avoid addiction. To Chase's energy? I curled up and buried my face in the pillow he'd slept on. The faint cedar mingled with something metallic, the same scent that had drifted to my bedside after childhood nightmares. Chase didn't come home all day. At dusk a text arrived. Working late, don't wait up. I tried eating from the fridge and nearly gagged. Ordinary food could no longer sustain me. When night fell, things turned wrong. Though my reserve still read 75%, it felt as if someone had opened a sluice gate. 60%, 50%, 40%. Every drop intensified the burn under my skin. By midnight I was shivering on the bed, 15% left, ants crawling beneath my skin. Chase! I moaned, fingers clawing the bedsheet. The door slammed open. He strode in, tie undone. 3 steps later his palm met my forehead. Why are you burning up? The instant he touched me the plunge stopped, though no rebound came. I clutched his wrist like a life raft. Not enough, need more. His gaze shifted. Slowly he leaned in, mouth grazing my ear. What do you want, Jenna? Say it. Kiss, touch me. My voice cracked, my body arched toward him. His lips landed on my neck, sucking gently. Energy leapt to 20%, followed by a fiercer hunger. I yanked him closer. Chase's breathing turned rough. Obedient, his mouth traced my collarbone, lingering over every sensitive spot above my breasts. Here. His voice was danger low, palms sliding down my waist. 30%. Still not enough. Frantic, I tore at his dress shirt. Buttons popped in the hush of the bedroom. Moonlight painted his chest honey gold. Several pale scars crossed his left shoulder, marks I'd never seen. What are these? The instant my fingertip brushed them, he caught my wrists, and pinned them above my head. A silver sigil glowed faintly on the back of his neck. Secrets cost, you know. For a moment his aura felt altogether different. His mouth crashed down, not gentle this time, almost predatory. Numbers soared, 40%, 50%, 60%. My mind blank, receiving everything he gave. His hand slipped under my pajama top and pressed the small of my back. Ah! Lightning shot through me. Energy vaulted past 80%. I bowed off the bed, nails raking his back. He paused, then kissed harder. The sigil blazed. Just as the gauge neared 100%, he released me and stepped back, breathing ragged, eyes wide with shock. And fear? Sorry. His voice was sandpaper. I lost control. I lay limp, 95% on the screen, but the thirst still howled. When he turned to leave, I grabbed his hem. Don't go. I need. No, you don't. He gently peeled my fingers away. Not like this. After the door shut, I stared at the ceiling. The bruise he'd sucked at my neck throbbed, but the real ache was in my chest. Chase had looked at me as if I were some deadly creature. Next morning, he was gone. On the dining table waited breakfast and a note. Emergency trip, back in 3 days. Food in fridge. Don't look for me. Don't look for me? My fingers trembled around the slip of paper. The app said 80%, but I wouldn't survive the day. Chase was running, from what I didn't know. I found myself heading for his study, usually locked, today ajar. A metallic tang greeted me as I pushed the door. Open on the desk lay a thick codex, supernatural bestiary. The page displayed the succubus chapter, margins crowded with Chase's handwriting. A red-circled paragraph jumped out. A pureblood succubus entering Phase 3 awakening will exhibit energy backlash. The compatible donor will simultaneously manifest a guardian sigil. In the margin he'd sketched the exact sigil I'd seen glowing on his neck. My hands shook as I flipped on. The entire volume was his decade-long research, the earliest date-stamped notes from middle school, when we'd just met. The first drawer was unlocked. Inside, silver vials and an odd-shaped dagger lined up like specimens. The second held a photo album. I opened it and froze. Every picture was of me, each labeled with date and physical data. Age 12, nightmare frequency up, silver figure hallucinations. Age 15, first energy surge, mistaken for puberty. 21st birthday, projected awakening. The last shot was taken a few days ago, me asleep on the couch. Beside it he had written, Pureblood awakening initiated, guardian sigil emerged. Danger level high. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. He ran, didn't he? Because he knows you're losing control. If you want the truth, come to the warehouse at 8 tonight. About Chase, about you, about why you're fated to pull each other close and tear each other apart. I collapsed into Chase's desk chair, my mind reeling. He'd known all along I would become a succubus? Those scars, the silver runes, the research notes. Who exactly is Chase? And what am I? The app flashed a scarlet warning. Energy, 12%, pureblood succubus, stage 3 traits confirmed, extreme risk. Locate compatible source immediately. I clenched my teeth and dialed Chase. It rang forever. When it finally connected, a strange male voice said, Captain Voss is on assignment. Leave a message. Captain Voss? What unit? I hung up. My energy had already slipped to 10%. Pale pink filigree, vein-thin, spiderwebbed across my skin. Worst of all, I could smell myself now. My own cloying succubus pheromones sickeningly sweet. The food in the fridge was useless. I tried the coffee Chase had left, but the instant it touched my tongue I gagged it back up. My body wouldn't accept it anymore. By nightfall I was too weak to stand. The app read 5%, the warning icon blazing red. In the mirror, lavender lines fanned from the corners of my eyes and my canines had sharpened. I looked every inch the monster. My phone rang again, same unknown number. In 2 hours you'll hit total depletion. If you don't want to become a real monster, come to me. I can give you temporary relief. And the truth Chase refuses to tell. I glanced at the clock, then at the stranger's face in the glass. Chase had hidden too much, and right now I needed answers. And I needed to survive. The iron door of the warehouse slammed shut behind me. I pressed my back to the cold metal, fighting to steady my breath. Energy at 5%, violet webs pulsing beneath my skin. The place reeked of mildew and some sharp chemical. Vance, you finally came. Marcus stepped from the shadows, white coat spotless, intelligent glint behind gold-rimmed glasses. In his hand, a tablet looped the video that had robbed me of sleep. Chase driving a silver dagger toward a woman who wore my face. Your mother, Marcus tapped the screen. Chase's graduation exam. Exterminate a pureblood succubus. I bit my lip until my fong broke skin, copper blooming in my mouth. Why show me this? Because you deserve the truth. He swiped to more photos. The Voss family has always been guardians. Their job is to monitor and eliminate dangerous supernaturals like you. Shot after shot. Little me on an elementary playground while Chase or his father watched from afar. My middle school graduation with Chase in the corner holding a silver device. Move-in day at college, our chance meeting. Chase befriended you, became your childhood rock purely for the mission, Marcus hissed. Now you've awakened. His assignment is nearly done. Either leash you or purge you. My knees buckled. I had to brace against the wall. Those gentle eyes, those warm arms, those searing kisses, all pretend. Still, I can help. Marcus produced a slim syringe. Temporary relief from energy collapse. All I need is one small vial of your blood. I stared at the crimson fluid, throat raw. Energy 3%, my vision blurred. Instinct screamed not to trust him. Why help me? Research. He adjusted his glasses. Pureblood succubi are rare, worth studying. Before I could answer, the warehouse doors burst open. A black blur flashed inside, silver glinted, and the syringe flew from Marcus's hand. Jenna, don't touch that. Chase. He wore black tactical gear, silver dagger gleaming, the guardian rune at his nape blazing. But his eyes, frightened, heartbroken. She's watching the doctored footage. Marcus shouted. Restrain her. Chase froze, then whipped around, snarling. What did you show her? No reply came. Instead, a projector in the corner whirred to life. The wall replayed the clip, Chase burying his blade in my mother's shoulder. This time it continued. White coat techs rushed in, young Marcus among them. They pinned her, injected something, while Chase fought to stop them. What? I looked at Chase, lost. Edited. His voice shook with rage. That day I was saving your mother. Marcus is the killer. Marcus's face drained of color. He jabbed a button. Transparent walls rose, caging us. Doesn't matter, he sneered. Neither of you leaves here alive. Chase moved in front of me. Jenna, that tape was spliced. Yes, I took the Guardian trials, but the objective was to free illegally held supernaturals, including your mom. Then she's? Safe, relocated. He kept his eyes on Marcus. Marcus wants her back for tests. That's why he's after you. My head spun. Chase hadn't murdered my mother? His presence wasn't solely duty. Don't listen. Marcus barked. Guardians exist to erase threats. Chase broke his oath. The mark will kill him sooner or later. The rune on Chase's neck blazed. He dropped to one knee, groaning. Marcus seized a gun-shaped device, aiming at Chase. No! I lunged, shielding him. A violet burst shot from my palm and smashed into Marcus's wrist. He screamed. The weapon clattered away. I froze, my first conscious use of succubus power. Jenna, run! Chase struggled up. He's raised an energy barrier. My guardian skills are damped. Marcus clutched his wrist, laughing. Touching. The guardian in love with his mark, ironic. He pressed another switch. The barrier began shrinking. Once you're dead, I'll dissect both corpses at my leisure. Chase caught my hand. Trust me, okay? I met his pain-filled, resolute gaze and nodded. He drew a breath, then pressed his silver dagger into my grip. Pureblood succubus plus guardian blade can shatter any barrier. But I don't know how. Follow instinct. He leaned to my ear. Focus on what you crave most. What I crave most. Not energy, not vengeance. Chase. I tightened my fingers on the dagger, shut my eyes, and remembered the first time he kissed me. The blade ignited, molten, silver and violet intertwining. I slashed at the barrier. A sound like shattering glass rang out, and the wall vanished. Impossible. Marcus went white. Only soul resonance could. Chase didn't let him finish. He lunged and knocked Marcus out cold. Silence fell, broken only by our ragged breathing. My legs gave. I nearly crumpled. Chase caught me, palm flat to my back. Energy almost gone, he whispered, gentler than ever. I nodded, questions still crowding my tongue. Chase, those photos, you were watching me? It started as surveillance, he admitted freely. But when I was 12, I petitioned to switch to remote guard only. A sad smile. Because I found I couldn't stay objective about you. Then why hide the truth until now? Guardian protocol, no revelation before full awakening. His rune flickered again and he winced. I've broken protocol plenty already. 1% left. Black spots swarmed my vision. Chase scooped me up and carried me to an old sofa in the corner. You need energy. He set me down, knelt in front of me. And I want to be the one. But your mark, worth the pain. He leaned in, forehead to mine. Jenna, my feelings crossed the mission line a long time ago. The instant his lips touched mine, energy surged in like a rising tide. 50%, 60, 70. While the numbers spiked, I felt Chase's emotions flood my awareness. His worry, his restraint, the love he'd hidden for years. I felt it all. I whispered between kisses. Your feelings for me. Chase's eyes widened a fraction. Your succubus abilities leveled up? Looks that way. I cupped his face and kissed him again. This time not for energy, but because I wanted to. His answer was a heat that made me tremble. His palms slid from my waist up my back. A gentle press and our bodies fit flush. My reserve was full, but neither of us could stop. Jenna, he breathed against my ear. We should stop. Why? I deliberately brushed against him, feeling his body tense. As a succubus, his pull on me is enormous. Chase's pupils dilated with desire. I'm going crazy, but not in a filthy place like this. He kissed the tip of my nose. You deserve better. He lifted me and carried me out of the warehouse. Moonlight poured over us. I leaned against his chest, listening to the steady thud of his heart. Chase, the rune on the back of your neck, it doesn't hurt? He shook his head, wonder in his eyes. When I'm with you, it's completely silent. We smiled at each other. A siren wailed in the distance. Chase said he'd already alerted the guardians to handle Marcus. Right now, neither of us cared about him. Home? He asked softly. I nodded, fingers toying with his collar. Chase, how will we balance guardian and succubus from now on? He stopped and looked deep into my eyes. I'm not your guardian anymore. From today on, I'm only your Chase. That single sentence satisfied me more than any energy refill. I kissed him on my own, tasting the newborn closeness between us, free of secrets. Under the moonlight our shadows merged. You could no longer tell guardian from succubus. Morning light slipped through the curtain gap and painted a gold line across the floor. I lay on my side, secretly studying Chase while he slept. His lashes cast tiny shadows under his eyes. His breathing was light and even. I carefully extended a finger, tracing his outline in the air. The straight bridge of his nose, the thin lips, the tiny scar on his chin from a childhood fall. Without thinking, my fingertip drifted to his mouth, only to be caught mid-air. Chase opened his eyes, no trace of drowsiness in them. Peeking? His voice carried the rasp of just waking. I yanked my hand back, but he held it tighter. My face burned, all the way to my ear tips. And no, I was just... Chase chuckled, thumb brushing the inside of my wrist, my sensitive spot. Warmth spread from the touch, and my energy indicator rose from 75 to 80%. Low again? He asked, voice gentle. I nodded, too shy to admit, I really just wanted his touch. Since that night at the warehouse, ordinary hugs aren't enough. The app says I need closer contact, but how can I say that out loud? Chase released my hand and cradled my face instead. His palm was warm, dry. Jenna, there's no need for shyness between us. Yet when he leaned closer, I still squeezed my eyes shut. The expected kiss landed on my forehead, light as a feather. Morning, he murmured, so near. I'll make breakfast. He headed for the bathroom. I rolled across the bed, burying my burning face in the pillow. The pillow smelled of him, cool cedar, reminding me of childhood nights when we huddled under one blanket watching horror movies. Back then it was simple. I could hug him and shriek without thinking. Now the thought of holding him makes my heart race. Evening. We sat side by side on the couch, a random movie playing. We called it movie night, but neither of us followed the plot. My attention was fixed on Chase's hand resting along the back of the sofa, inches from my shoulder. His attention was on my knee, pretending to drift accidentally against his leg. Jenna, Chase said suddenly. About recharging. If you need a more effective method. He weighed his words, we can try. My heart skipped. You don't mind? Chase turned. His gaze was warm, steady. With you. I don't mind anything. The movie's audio faded. I was aware only of his breathing, so close. He approached slowly, giving me every chance to retreat. I didn't. The kiss was as soft as a question, full of testing and restraint. When we parted, both of us wore goofy grins like freshmen after a first kiss. Effective? Chase asked, thumb stroking my cheek. I nodded, then added in a whisper, but maybe we need more data. His laugh was low, warm. He bent again, and this time the kiss erased all my shyness, all hesitation. Night deepened. We stayed curled on the sofa. My head rested on his shoulder. His fingers twined and untwined strands of my hair. Chase! I mustered the courage to ask what had haunted me. Why are you willing to help me like this? A long silence stretched, so long I thought he wouldn't answer. Then I felt his lips on my crown, his voice almost inaudible. Because I like you, have for a long time. Such simple words, yet they squeezed my heart with tenderness. I lifted my head. His eyes held a gentleness I'd never seen. Me too, I whispered. And not just because of energy. Chase smiled and pulled me closer. We stayed like that, tucked beneath starlight and heartbeats, finding our easiest rhythm, shy yet craving, restrained yet honest. Evening. Chase hadn't come back. Bored, I flicked on the TV and picked whatever movie queued up. When the opening credits rolled, I realized it was one of those steamy rom-coms, the explicit kind. On screen, the leads tangled together, clothes puddling to the floor. I bit my lip, imagination swapping them for Chase and me, until the lock clicked. "I'm back," Chase called, sounding tired. I hopped up to greet him, then froze. His face was pale. "What happened?" "Nothing, just," he noticed the screen and raised an eyebrow. "Studying?" I scrambled for the remote. It was on autoplay. Chase chuckled, shrugging off his jacket. He looked exhausted, the guardian's sigil on him dimmer than usual. I tugged him to the couch and laid my head on his lap. "Meeting go okay?" I asked upward. His fingers combed my hair. He was hiding something, but I didn't push. "Watching a movie?" "Yeah." He chose an old comedy classic, and we cuddled as always. Except tonight I let my hand rest on his thigh, feeling the hard muscle under denim. His breathing hitched, but he didn't move me away. Halfway through, I shifted. My chest brushed his palm. We both stilled. His fingertips trembled, then settled over my breast through my pajamas. "Jenna." His voice ached with sweet torment. "You're testing my control." I tilted my head. In the dim light his gaze was tender, hungry. Slowly he bent and kissed me. Hotter than ever, like he wanted to devour me. When we broke apart we were both breathless. Chase's thumb traced my swollen lower lip. "Let's keep discussing energy recharge." I curled in his arms, listening to the strong beat of his heart. For the first time, becoming a succubus felt like luck, because it had driven Chase and me to this moment. Side note, Chase's body is ridiculous. He had me count his abs all night, over and over. Said since we grew up together we should be, well, intimately familiar. Thanks for listening. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate tonight's story? If you liked it, give us a thumbs up and share with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales. See you next time.